Hello and welcome to Fit Life Radio, the place where you can learn a little bit more about how your body works and find new ways to improve your health. I'm your host Petju, and I hope to provide you with as much valuable information and inspire you to become a better version of yourself. Mic check. Let's get started. Alright. Hey guys, how's it going? I hope your day is good so far, and whatever you do, it's amazing. And I hope you're going to enjoy this podcast. In today's podcast, I kind of wanted to talk about the 5 pillars or the 5 foundation of being fit. Now, these are not the most important aspects, of course, because there's so many, but I think prioritizing them would give you the most benefits. Fit life in general, why I named it first Fit Life, right? So Fit Life for me, it's a very general statement, and I know fit is often related to like a sexy looking body and like a six-pack and typically the fit body is like that kind of a Baywatch body, but for me being fit mostly means to be capable, and not physically capable of like moving or lifting stuff. Like being fit means just to be healthy and to be capable of doing your daily life and like being able to deal with whatever life gives you. Obviously that's that's kind of impossible, but daily tasks such as climbing stairs or lifting stuff or like having energy to deal with certain stressful situations or issues or traffic jams or whatever, like being a little bit more fit and healthy is going to give you way more kind of a threshold, and it's going to like improve, I think in my experience at least, like being fit improves your ability to handle those stuff way better. So for me this means fit, and this is why I named it fit, because I do believe that being fit is just a little bit better lifestyle rather than like being muscular or being super strong or being super fast or whatever. So it's a very general statement about like everything in your life, including nutrition and movement and mental state and relationships and just pretty much everything in your life in general. For me it's a very, very holistic approach towards health, if I can say that. So that's why I named it Fit Life, and that's why I strongly believe in it, because I used to believe in just you need to look better, you need to be sexy, whatever, but in fact that's not true. Like if you get a little bit fitter, like at least for me my life became way better after I got slightly stronger and I got a little bit more aware of what I did, and I prioritized some stuff. So yeah, this is why I wanted to talk about today, that if we manage to prioritize those 5 foundations that I'm going to talk about, I think we're going to be really, really way better than we are right now. So the first one that I want to talk about, and I put it the first one not because it's really important, but it's not the most important part. Like there's no most important part. I think I put it first because it's the easiest that you can kind of manipulate. And even though it's easiest, it's not as easy as it sounds. The first foundation is sleep. I strongly believe that every single person can try to manipulate and prioritize sleep. because it's just something super easy. Like, it's something that we do every single day. It's not like you have to have a gym membership and go to a gym and know how to train. Like, you just need to have some sort of practices around your sleep. So that's why I think it's the easiest. And actually, if you manage to improve your sleep, you're gonna see a lot of benefits so fast. Like, I'm not joking. Like, and why I think sleep should be prioritized. Well, sleep is very, very important for our health. Like, whenever we do something during the day, like, we slowly damage our body. And during the night, when we sleep, our brain uses this time to recover those damaged tissues, to replenish the the sources, if I can say so. Like, it just for instance, like, sleep is highly related to Alzheimer. And I'm not saying that, yeah, if you prioritize sleep, you're never gonna get Alzheimer. Like, who knows? I mean, there is no cure so far, I think. So, but anyway, like, whenever we sleep, there is some sort of protein which I can't tell you the name of. I'm not a scientist. I'm not an expert. I just read it in a book, which, by the way, it's super interesting. It's called Why We Sleep by Dr. Matt Walker, and it's super interesting. Like, it's very eye-opening book. Anyway, so he was talking about a protein that it's some sort of a plaque that it's built up in your brain, and whenever we sleep, our brain removes and slowly gets rid of that plaque from the brain. And this plaque, like, buildup of that plaque, it's highly related to an Alzheimer disease later on. So I do think it's worth mentioning it, even though it might not be exactly the cause. And it's not just this. It's like, I do notice that when I sleep better, the next day I feel like way more energized. Like, I mean, I'm sure. Okay, like, think about a night where you had, like, I don't know, 3-4 hours sleep, and you had to wake up super early, or like maybe you had some alcohol before you went to bed, and like you have to wake up early next morning, and like your day is super like it's it seems like everything that you normally do, it's way harder than usual. Like, for sure, everybody can relate, because everybody had those kind of nights. Everybody had like a lack of sleep, and it felt this. And even like, because like you can say, some people can say like, oh yeah, but I use like after 5 coffees, it's the same. Like, I don't feel tired anymore. It's not about being tired. It's like, yeah, like I've done it as well. Like, there was a time in my life where I was helping my dad quite a lot. So during the night, we had to work basically in a farm during the night. It was a heavy job, so it was several days in a row. So several days in a row, I had lack of sleep, like a very consistent lack of sleep. I was sleeping like 2-3 hours, because we had to wake up at 2 o'clock at night or in the morning and work all day long. So I would go to bed at 10. So imagine that's what, like 4 hours of sleep, something like this. Anyway, so I was running on a lot of caffeine and workout boosters, because at that time I was strongly believing in supplements and stuff like that. So pre-workouts is the other name of it. Basically, it's something full of caffeine and a lot other shits, which like I don't even know, but they get you so energized. Well, yeah, they give me way more energy than I even needed, but the lack of sleep made me super angry. Like, if for some reason I couldn't control my emotions, I couldn't control like how I handle stuff around. Like, I was just so angry at anyone, and I was looking for a fight, which is so weird. Like, this was the early, like, now I'm realizing this when I know more about it, but that time I didn't, and I was just thinking that, like, whatever, I just need coffee to survive. So it's super, super important. And not only for this, is like let's say we're trying to achieve something and we're trying to work hard on it. Like it's way easier to focus when you have had a good night of sleep. So it's super important to prioritize. But how do we prioritize it? Well, it's there are quite a lot of things actually you can do, and just saying that okay, it's enough to sleep 7-8 hours during the night is really not enough. I would say the first thing, try to have zero electronics, like at least an hour before bed. So if you know that normally you're going to bed at 12 or at midnight, let's say, because it's easier, just at around 10 or 11, kind of like stop looking at your phone, like avoid watching TV or like I don't know, like what, checking something on your laptop. Like maybe like kind of like set that schedule where like 1 hour before you go to bed you're not gonna look at any electronics. Like you can read a book, you can play a game, like I mean like a board game, you can talk with your partner, or if you're alone, there's so many stuff. Like I was when I was living alone, it was a great time to enjoy a bit of music and stretch. Yeah, of course, that's not every person, but it's just an example which can be like, I mean, you kind of get into this flow state because you start stretching and you start like, or at least for me, and the music kind of helps to like distract you from the physical pain, and you think about some other stuff, think about like what happened during the day, or you can also like do a journal. Like it's not a big deal. Like whatever you choose to do, just kind of avoid that blue light, because guys, the way it works is that blue light blocks the production of melatonin. And melatonin is a hormone that is produced like when it gets darker outside. So whenever our eyes stop receiving the sunlight, they start, like our brain starts to produce melatonin, which kind of like sets our body into this direction of sleep. It sets a like it slows down the, like it like decrease the body temperature. It slows down the heart slowly, like kind of like, it depends what you do, of course, but technically this is what should happen. And well, blue light from screens and electronics kind of like mimics the sunlight, so it tricks the brain that it's not night, that it's not dark outside. It tricks the brain that it's day and we should be outside working or hunting or whatever. So like you may think that you go to sleep, but in fact you're not really sleeping well, because your body is not prepared for. And another good thing that you can do is you can try to decrease the consumption of coffee, because the more coffees you have, the more you're in this kind of fight or flight system, which even though you think you're sleeping, like your nervous system is constantly active because there's that caffeine in your system which makes it very excited. So you think you're sleeping, but in fact you're in a state of fight or flight and you're not really resting. So I'm gonna talk more about sleep in another episode, but kind of this is it. Like I think prioritizing sleep is something very easy that we can do. It's just like some simple steps that we can try to, some simple stuff we can try to avoid, or some simple stuff that we can try to utilize. And I think if you want to live a little bit better and happier or healthier, we can start from there. It's super easy. It doesn't require much stuff, and it's probably one of the greatest things you can actually do to your body, if I have to be honest. Right, so number 2, we are moving to food. Why number 2? Well, again, food is very essential. We eat all the time. We eat to survive. We need energy. We need nutrients, and I think it's super important to give our body exactly what it needs, because um, like your body needs certain nutrients or um, certain stuff basically to be alive, right? So during the day it utilizes a lot of different compounds, which some of them can be produced, but some others have to be like obtained through food. So if we don't give the body what it needs, it's very hard to expect it to work as it should, right? Like just like a car, for instance. Like, I think it's the easiest example, but if your car is petrol and you put diesel, or you put like a very very low quality petrol, like your car is not gonna perform the same way that it should, right? Because it's just the quality of the fuel, it's not the same, it's not what it should be. So this is very general right now. It's not that easy, but I think we just need a little bit more understanding about food in general. And I know I touched a little bit on that on the previous episode, the introductory episode. But I think we can just try, because look, the thing is, we associate now food with taste, and that's something, it's quite nice. Taste is pretty important, but unfortunately our taste receptors are kind of damaged due to the fact that we are bombarded, like the food industry is bombarding us with a lot of artificial flavors and artificial foods that are super tasty, but they change our perception of food. Like, they change the way we look at food. Like, as I mentioned in the previous episode, like, kids nowadays, they associate the flavor of strawberries not with the real fruit, but they associate it with the candy, which is strawberry flavored. And that's pretty bad if you ask me, because like it's a perfect example, actually, an analogy. Because yeah, you're thinking you get the strawberry, but do you actually get the real strawberry? Like, the candy has artificial flavor and it has sugar. Yes, that sugar gives you energy more than what strawberry is gonna give you. Very true. But that energy is nothing but calories, nothing but pure energy that is gonna be burnt. Like, there is no nutrients that your body need. Like, sugar is not an essential nutrient that is going to help production of hormones, that is going to help utilizing certain proteins or carrying certain compounds in your body. It's not something that is going to transport oxygen, for example. Like, it's not something that's going to rebuild damaged tissues. It's not something that is going to break down certain vitamins and utilize it kind of in your body. So yeah, it's the same taste, but the real fruit gives you way more than the candy. You know what I mean? So this is why a lot of we have a lot of diseases today, because we are kind of tricked to think that taste is super important. And don't get me wrong, like, I do enjoy taste, but I kind of learned to enjoy the taste, but also to enjoy the food because of its quality. And I'm not talking about like eating broccoli and plain chicken all the time. Like, I know kind of like the bodybuilding world is associated with this mentality where like you would eat raw eggs and like it doesn't matter what you eat as long as it fits your macros, and some bullshit like that. Like, being fit is nothing about this. Being fit is being able to utilize the most important compounds and the most important aspects of everything to get the most value of everything, while still able to enjoy. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't go out and you shouldn't drink from time to time, or you shouldn't eat like a piece of cake or whatever. Of course not. Like, I mean, I learned this in a hard way, but um, like, I used to be restricting all the time because I thought that, like, in order to look good, I have to always like restrict and eat like a bodybuilder. And then whenever I had chance to have like a cheat day, I was just smashing a whole cake or some sort of, I don't know, cookies or whatever that I was craving for so long, and I wasn't allowing myself to, because I was like, oh, like this is my cheat, like it's my cheat day, so like the diet's not gonna notice or whatever. Like it's not true. Like I end up having, at the end of the week, I end up having like the same amount of calories, and I'm still not losing fats, or I'm not building muscles, because I'm not nourishing my body the right way. Like by uh, by prioritizing food, I mean just like being able to understand what food really gives you, and being able to choose really quality foods. Like and as a beginning, okay, like this is the very beginning that we can do, right? So I'm not gonna like talk much more about food. I'm just gonna say this, like, try to avoid processed food for 2 weeks. That's it. I don't want you to restrict anything. I just want you to try to avoid processed food. And what do I mean by processed food? Processed food is everything that it's already pre-cooked in certain way, and it doesn't require as much intervention from your side, right? So processed food can be the ready chicken burger that is frozen, and you just put in a microwave, and after 2 minutes it's ready to be eaten. Processed food is all those frozen pizzas that you just put in a oven for 10 minutes and they're ready. Processed foods are all the fast foods. Processed foods are all the packaged foods, such as cookies, potato chips, all those kind of like shelf life products. So if you try to avoid them, like, don't restrict yourself, don't count calories, like none of this. Just try to be aware when you eat those processed food, and try to just get a really quality raw food and cook it yourself. Like, whatever sort of meat you can think of, get it. Whatever sort of like vegetables you can think of and you won't, get it. Fat sources also, like, kind of avoid like the very processed fats, like the trans fats. But anyway, like, if you're only looking to buy like fat source, you're probably gonna get like some sort of oil, which most of the time is alright, except like palm oil or margarine or something like this. But anyway, like, you get my point. So try this for 2 weeks, and you're gonna see massive results. Like, I promise you guys, like, you will be blown away of the way you feel. Like, I promise you're gonna have at least more energy, or at least you will feel better, like sleep quality or something like this. Trust me, like, I'm sure that something is gonna change, and this is the perfect example that you will have to become more aware of food. And if you are actually looking for a guide for whole food, you can go to free resources like FitLife Blueprints / free resources, and you can download my guide. It's absolutely free. It's called Free Healthy Eating Guide. Inside, I break down all the macronutrients, all the protein, carbohydrates, fats, fibers, and all that. I explain why they're so important for the body, and I give you a list of probably more than 200 types of food which you can choose. Why I'm saying this, like, if I manage to convince you to change the way you eat, I want you to just start eating whole food and just avoid processed food. That's it. I don't want you to eat in a certain way. I just want you to switch from processed, very heavily processed food, to a healthy food, to more natural, whole, real food. And the only way to do it is the easiest way to do it is by having some sort of guide with like a list of foods which you can choose of. So head over to FitLife Blueprints, download it if you want, and like just start cooking your own meals. Honestly, like you can create miracles in the kitchen, trust me, and it can be so damn delicious that you will never go back to McDonald's, for example. Or I hope so. Anyway, next one on the list, can you guess it? Movement. Why movement? Well, because whatever you do throughout your day, even if you're sitting, you're still moving. Like you have to move, you have to get up and move around. And movement provides energy. Like our bodies, we are designed to move. We evolve to be moving. Like we evolve to be able to run, or we are actually. Did you know that we are the only humans are the animals kind of that like can outrun every other animal, like by distance. So like we cannot run the fastest, but we can outrun every other animal on the planet by distance. We can walk for days. We can run for hours. No other animal is capable of that. So that's pretty impressive. But we are slowly losing that. Like if you check your phone, I hope you're doing more than 10 to 15,000 steps, but the average person is not even able to average around 5,000. Like even me, like I try to be so active, but like I regularly I try to hit around 20,000, but realistically I'm at around 13, 14,000 every day. So we evolved to be moving, and like our body kind of demands it, like it needs it, and we kind of need to give it to. We need to provide it with this movement, with this energy that it's created while we move, because otherwise, like our body is becoming more and more sick from not moving. Like think of a very old bike that hasn't been used for a while. Like think about the chain, like it's kind of rusty and it's not moving very smooth. Well, this is going to happen to your joints if you don't move. This happens to our joints when we become sedentary. This happens to the muscles and the ligaments, because if we don't use our muscles, like we are born and we develop those muscles because this is how just how life works. But when we stop using those muscles, like we're slowly losing them, because the brain is not stupid. The brain always tries to be efficient and tries to be like, all right, I'm not using on a daily basis those muscles. Like I'm gonna just get rid of them. But the problem is that when there's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is that when the brain gets rid of those muscles, well, some of them we need to stand up, or some of them we need to walk properly. So imagine like we're sitting all day long in this forward shoulder, forward head posture, and like the muscles of our back are slowly getting atrophy because we're not using them. Like we are mostly flexing, we're mostly using the front side of our body, which is pushing or flexing forward, and we are avoiding to use the muscles of the back, which are extending our body. And the brain is like, okay, I'm gonna get rid of those muscles. But the more the brain gets rid of those muscles, the more we experience this kind of a pain, or the harder times we have activating those muscles, because they're just gone, like they're not there anymore. So this is the issue with not moving. I'm not saying that you should go to the gym or anything like that. I'm trying to motivate you to implement some sort of activity in your daily life, because I'm more than sure that if you have some sort of practice around movement, and you're able to incorporate movement every single day in your life, your body is gonna feel way better, because every single person has some sort of aches and pains, right? But I don't think it's normal to have them, especially on a young age. Like, I don't think like a 15-year-old kid's supposed to suffer from back pain. Like, 15-year-old kid were so active before, like they were super like they were trying to just to explore the world the way they can, like they were trying to do everything they can, and they never had pain, like, you know what I mean? And nowadays it's kind of like they're sitting all day long, they're having those heavy backpacks for school, and they're sitting in school all day. Like, I mean, think about it. There's like, for a whole week, there are 2 to 3 hours or classes of physical education. So from 5 days, let's say you have 7 or like 6 or 7 classes. What's that, like 30 to 40 maximum hours a week? From 40 hours a week, kids are active only 3. And these are not like 60 minutes, these are 45 minutes classes. We call them hours in Bulgaria, that's why. Excuse me. But anyway, like, it's not enough. Like, I would say you should have at least 1 per day or 2. Unfortunately, it's like 2 to 3 per week. So it's really not enough. And I'm not, by implementing activity, don't get me wrong, like I'm into gym, like I like to exercise, I like to lift weights, I also like bouldering or climbing, but I'm not saying that everybody should go to the gym or everybody should go climbing. I'm just saying that everybody should implement some sort of activity in their lifestyle, and that activity can be everything. It's just like, it can be as little as just walking 1 hour a day, or it can be going to a dance class, it can be I don't know, like swimming if you're into this, it can be doing table tennis, or it can be like running if you prefer. Like, whatever you can think of in terms of health, just try to have half an hour to 1 hour some sort of activity. Like, you can think of, there's so many different stuff, but like, it's just it. Like, you're gonna feel way better. Like, your body's gonna, like, it doesn't mean that your pain are like, your aches or pains are just gonna disappear. Like, of course you have to work specifically on those issues that you have, but in general you're gonna have way more energy, you're gonna burn a little bit more calories. In general, you're gonna feel a little bit more alive, like, and active and just free. So try to implement it, and like, your lifestyle is gonna change, like, dramatically, trust me. And the next one we're moving to, that's quite actually weird. You're gonna think of it's of something pretty weird, but it's be happy. Yep, like, it's actually happiness. Like, the 4th foundation of being fit and being healthy is to be happy. And of course you're probably thinking, like, what the fuck, like, I mean, yeah, okay, like, I'm just gonna say be happy, like, I'm gonna be happy. Like, I mean, try to find some time for yourself, for what you like to do. We are, like, today we're kind of living in this artificial world, and we're constantly running, we never stop. And I think it's like, we're very attracted to money, possessions, success. That's nothing, I mean, there is nothing wrong with that, but the problem is that, for me at least, like, we never actually stop and look inside. Like, we never actually take half an hour to do whatever we like to do so much. That can be everything, like it can be just listening music. It can be watching a TV show that you really enjoy. Like, I don't mean binge watching, because like when I start binge watching, I don't do absolutely nothing during my day, and I'm super angry about it, and that for sure doesn't make me happy. But my point is that you should kind of try to find like half an hour or like even less for something that really makes you happy, and just practice it. And this is so important for your kind of your mental state, and the way you feel about anything, and it kind of like recharges you. And for some reason we're kind of missing it. We're slowly starting to implement it. We're slowly like finding it back again. But I think this is kind of the value of most of the religion practices. Like, they teach you to be so present, and they teach you to have this practice that you look forward to, and you're just present with yourself, and it kind of like recharges you, and like it keeps you away from everything else, from every other stressful situations. So it gives you kind of a break, and well, I think it's pretty important. And in the beginning, I kind of wanted to by being happy, I kind of wanted to touch on being yourself, and doing what you love, and doing what you want. That's never easy, though. That's super important. That's super important, but it's super hard to do. So I don't think I can change someone, or I can help someone to do whatever they want, because it's realistically impossible. Like, we're always kind of obliged to do some stuff, regardless whether we want them or not, because we live in a society, we live in a modern world where it's not easy. It's just not easy to do whatever you want. Like, we have to make money, we have to live with them. Like, we can't just like eat air and drink water and like voila, we just, like, unfortunately we have to do some stuff that are not always pleasant. But maybe finding some practices that makes you happy are definitely going to improve your lifestyle to like a lot. And yeah, I think that's it. I don't really want to talk more about like happiness this way, because like I'm just like, I remember a blog that I wrote. It was one of the first blogs that I wrote, and it was exactly about this. It was called The 5 Pillars of Fitlife. And happiness is, like, for me, still happiness is one of the most important stuff. In one of those, like, 5 pillars. But it just, like, remembering what I wrote doesn't really correlate with the way I think right now. So yeah, this is what I want to touch on. And the other thing is relationships, actually. I will kind of include it in the happiness part, because a lot of the times, like, having bad relationships kind of can relate to other stuff, and have negative consequences to other stuff in our lifestyle. So I think trying to work on certain relationships that we think we lack or we are not happy with, it's pretty important. In fact, that reminds me of a study that I wrote, that having one bad relationship in your life, it's equal to smoking 15 cigarettes a day to your health. I really don't know if that's true or not, but like from experience, if I have an issue with someone who is important for me, let's say like we fought for something with my girlfriend, or we fought with my brother for something, or like we had a hard time like finding exactly what we want with my dad, or maybe like we couldn't get along very well with what we wanted with my friends, like then until I resolve that issue in this relationship, everything else in my life, and especially those 5 pillars, are kind of struggling. Like I struggle to find motivation to go to work out or to just move or whatever. I struggle to choose the right foods because I'm kind of like trying to cover maybe the pain of this bad relationship or this obstacle in the relationship with some sort of nice tasting food, or just like, or my sleep also, like I struggle to fall asleep because I'm keep thinking about this relationship. So I don't know if it's as equal as smoking 15 cigarettes a day, because yeah, like you always have bad relationships in your life, and you cannot have like one bad relationship all the time. But I do think it's kind of important to resolve those issues, and I do think it's it's worth mentioning it in this section, because thinking back, like I should have included in the blog, and I think I'm actually going to do. But yeah, it's important to strive for those things. Anyway, like enough for happiness. Like we're talking about happiness, and I make you unhappy, I feel like. So let's move to the last one. And the last one is being aware. Well, it's last but not least, because it's being aware is probably as equal as sleep, but it's so hard to accomplish it. Like by being aware, I touched on that last time, like in the introductory episode. Like for me, being aware means more to listen to your body. Like let's say I'm gonna give you an example with the sleep. So let's say you had a bad night's sleep, right? Or like consistently you're getting like every morning you wake up, like you think you're sleeping all right, you sleep like 7-8 hours, but you wake up every morning with this like kind of headache, and you feel bad and whatever. Like the unaware person is just gonna say, oh, like I'm really hoping that tomorrow is gonna be better, but it's not gonna change anything. The aware person is gonna acknowledge that for the past few days he or she wasn't sleeping the best, so maybe there's something that is causing that, and it's gonna try to dig. It's gonna try to find those like patterns which changed, or is gonna try to find something that may have caused this lack of sleep. And that it's not easy, because you cannot just switch a button and all of a sudden become aware. Like it's a practice that you should try to practice all the time. But trust me, like the more aware you are, the easier it's going to be to read the signals from your body. Because I'm going to give you the perfect example with my grandma. Like she believes that she has headaches because of solar eruptions. I'm not sure the exact word. What's it called? Solar flare, right? Thank you. It's called solar flare, and she believes that whenever there's solar flare, she has a headache, or whenever actually she has a headache, there is a solar flare causing that. And like I would say she's very unaware, because like she doesn't like think of a fact that maybe she didn't drink enough water, or maybe she had a little bit more coffee because she loves drinking coffee, and maybe she read something until she read a book until like 3 o'clock in the morning, and she struggled to fall asleep after that because she has those very bright white artificial lights. So she's going to be unaware of the fact that maybe her headaches are caused by her lifestyle and the way she approached things. Like, she's just going to think that because of the solar flare her headaches appeared again, and she has to take a painkiller in order to get through the day. I think it's a perfect example, because it sounds so silly, but it's true. Like, this is actually my grandma, and like, nobody can change that. Like, really, nobody can change that. The only person that can change is yourself. And my goal is to just like talk to you about all those kind of like give you all those examples, and let you I don't know how to say it properly, but like my goal is just to make you more aware, but not by pushing you to be aware, just by giving you examples. So you start to think of like, oh, in fact, you know what, maybe this is the reason for my headache, or maybe this is why I can't sleep very well, and maybe this is why I need 5 coffees during the day. Like, if I give you all the information you need, you can become slowly more and more aware of your body and what your body needs. And like, it's so important that we are aware of ourselves, because we are so different. Like, I'll give you another example, and so you can get what I mean. But I cannot just tell you eating carbohydrates are bad, like eating carbohydrates right before bed are bad. Like, of course not, because even though there might be, like, I'm not sure of that, I don't know, but let's say there is a study for that. Like, who knows? Like, for me personally, eating heavy carbs right before bed is very detrimental. I can't sleep properly, I struggle to fall asleep, I feel very heavy, I can't sleep properly, and in the morning, usually I would wake up with a headache. If I don't have heavy carbs, if I stick mostly to protein, fats, and like light vegetables or some sort of salad, I have zero problems. I don't have headaches, like I don't have problems falling asleep. But I had a friend in the gym, in Pure Gym, and he said that even during the night he would wake up to eat, and he would struggle to fall asleep if he doesn't have carbs, if he doesn't have this energy. Yes, he was a CrossFitter, he was an incredible athlete, and he needed so much energy. Like, probably he was eating like, I don't know, 4,000 calories a day. Like, he needed that energy, and I understand. But my point is that he is so different than me. Like, his body is completely different than mine, so I cannot say, yeah, you're gonna be way better if you don't eat carbs, because it's not true. He found out that this is what works for him, and I found out what works for me. So this is what I mean by being aware. This is what I mean by giving you examples. Like, I cannot just tell you, yeah, you shouldn't eat carbs during the night because that's gonna make you better. Well, maybe your body works differently. Maybe you're some sort of different individual, and your metabolism works differently, and this is what it is. It's same with movement. Like, I cannot tell you, yes, that move is gonna be perfect for you. Like, I do this many push-ups, and this works great for me, so it should be the same for you. Of course not, because like, your body is gonna respond differently. Maybe you have imbalance, maybe you have issues, maybe you can activate the right side like as well as you can activate the left side. So like, there's no a perfect solution for everything. Like, this is this is the goal and the aim of Fit Life Blueprints, guys. Like, this is what I'm trying to do here. Like, I don't want to give you the actual blueprints to live your life. I want to give you the guides. I want to give you I want to educate you in a different areas to different stuff which you can incorporate and use them to create your own routines and find out what works better and what doesn't. Like, I cannot change the fact that protein rebuilds tissue and carbs only give you energy. I cannot change the fact that in order for your body to produce some hormones, you need presence of fats or you need certain vitamins. Like, this is something that Mother Nature did, or I don't know who did, but like, these are facts. But our lifestyle is different and our bodies work slightly different in terms of like processing certain foods and reacting to different like elements and stuff. So by me trying to make you a little bit more aware and teach you about food and exercise and how your body works and about sleep and about all those stuff, you're gonna I do believe that you will be able to create your own better, healthier lifestyle. So this is it. This is how growth happens, actually, and this is how permanent changes happen. Like, you know stuff and you're able to kind of implement them in your life and see what works and what doesn't work. But in order to implement some stuff, you need to know those different stuff which you're gonna use, right? And in order to find what works for you and what doesn't, you have to be aware and you have to know how your body works. So that's gonna happen slowly, but I think it's quite important. So this is it. These are the five pillars of Fit Life, the 5 foundations that every single person can change or start to work for. They're not the only ones, though. In fact, I wrote a book called The Blueprint of Health. It's an ebook. It's a tiny one, but it contains 21 different aspects which you can try to change in your lifestyle, and you can try to accomplish, and you can try to think of, and maybe work towards, so you can achieve better health. If you're interested, I'm gonna link it in the description, in the notes. The Blueprint of Health. It's in Amazon. You can download it as a like ebook, or I guess if you have Kindle, you should be able to get it there. I'm not sure about Apple, so I'll have to check. But yes, if you're interested, like, go and try it out. Like, I really hope that it's gonna provide you with some knowledge and some value. Other than that, you can visit my website, fitlifeblueprints.com. You can go to free resources, and you can download as many guides as you want for absolutely free. There are not many, but I'm sure you can benefit from that. Also, you can go to my blog and you can read some of the articles I post. There are not many, again, but it's gonna take you like maybe a day to read them all. So yeah, I hope you can also enjoy them if you're into that. And other than that, I hope you enjoyed the podcast, and I will see you later. Thank you for tuning to Fit Life Radio. I hope you learned something useful, or at least had a bit of color to your commute. If you enjoyed the show, please share the love by introducing it to friends and family. And if you don't mind, please leave a review on your favorite podcasting app. Thank you for your support, and until next time, stay fit.